This week, Doctor Who Worlds in Time announces its shutdown, Elsword introduces its new mount system, and Guild Wars 2 gears up for its Origins of Madness update. Hey everyone, I'm Ashlen with MMO Play, and I'm bringing you all that and more this week on MMO News. Doctor Who Worlds in Time sadly announced that it'll be closing down come March. Microtransactions have already been suspended as the browser-based free-to-play game prepares to come to an end. This might not come as a surprise to many though, seeing as the game's last update was all the way back in April of last year. The game was developed by the San Francisco-based studio 3 Rings. Players were tasked with helping the Doctor solve puzzles to stop villains such as Cybermen and Weeping Angels. It was also the first Doctor Who online game that allowed multiplayer experiences such as socializing with fellow Whovians. The BBC, who operate Doctor Who Worlds in Time, stated, "We want to thank the loyal players of Worlds in Time for supporting the game through its years of operation. And as a peace offering, they have issued a discount code that can be used in their online store for other BBC-related products, including some of the Doctor Who memorabilia we all know and love." On a happier note, a new Viking RPG known as the Banner Saga Factions launched earlier this week. Developed and published by a 3-man team called Stoic Studio, the turn-based RPG sends players into battle as stoic leaders of Viking clans. That's right, you don't get to be one Viking, you get to build an entire team of them. Currently, there are 16 classes of heroes to choose from, each equipped with their own set of stats. Players can choose which stats they want to increase in order to personalize their teams even more. Each clan consists of 6 of those heroes that range from the basic tank to range damage dealers. For a 3-man team, the Banner Saga is extremely polished and fluid. Each hero is actually hand-drawn and animated, giving it a classic animated movie feel. As for combat, it's not your typical gear and stat-based fights. Instead, strategy will play a huge role in the outcome of who wins. The game is not to be confused with the Banner Saga trilogy, and is actually a standalone that is already available on Steam. The new free-to-play MMO, Allies and More, launched for iOS earlier this week. Known for its cutesy casual titles Crazy Hamster and Doodle Fit, Gamillion Studios has decided to toughen up their portfolio with a military RTS-themed game. The game consists of the basic staples you would find in any military RTS, such as building bases, assembling armies, and defeating enemies. Allies and More is, as the name says, based on building up allies as well as your army. So the game has a heavy emphasis on multiplayer interactions. The more allies you have, the better chance you have at defeating co-op bosses. To ensure that everyone is included, or well, I guess excluded in a way, they have added solo campaigns for those who don't care for the multiplayer experience, such as single-player missions and weekly tournaments. Elsword fans can breathe a sigh of relief because the long-awaited and overdue mount system has arrived. Yep, that's right. Instead of walking everywhere, you can now ride mounts. These galloping companions will allow players to go to and from town with less effort and time, thanks to the 25% boost in movement speed. But wait, there's more. Yes, not only will you be able to get around faster, but riding one of these guys grants special buffs such as defense boosts and HP recovery. Oh, and did I mention they also have special skills like shooting laser flares or heat-seeking missiles? If this all seems too good to be true, well, then you're kind of right. If you want to saddle up, you're going to need to throw down some cash. For a permanent mount, you will have to purchase it from the item mall. But to help you choose the right one for you, there are 7-day trial ones available in-game. I personally go with the Ancient Foru. I mean, look at it. Look at those legs. Star Wars The Old Republic has started its Preferred Early Access stage for the Galactic Starfighter expansion. That's right, Preferred Early Access has commenced for the first digital expansion, Galactic Starfighter. If you've purchased anything from the online store or have previously subscribed, then you basically get a full month's head start over the rest of us. Galactic Starfighter will be a free-to-play PvP expansion. Most of the hype is based around the 12v12 space fights, customizable ships, a ground game XP boost, as well as new weapons, powers, and abilities to customize your ultimate starfighter. Players basically take control of one of the 12 different starships and duke it out on 2 possible skirmish maps. This is a big deal because until now, all players have had were little mini shooter games to play. 4 new companions have also been added specifically to assist the starfighters. But if you already have a favorite companion, fear not, because all the companions have been updated with passive and active abilities. This is just some of what's to come in the expansion. For a more detailed breakdown, you can head over to their site by clicking on the link in the comments below. Players can recreate the rock and roll city of their dreams in Forge of Empires thanks to the Modern Era update. The Modern Era update comes packed with lots of content, including the longest story quest line for any age, and the outcome relies solely on your choices. Players can look forward to 96 new quests and over 11 new provinces. New modern era buildings like diners, amusement parks, and drive-in movie theaters have been added to help citizens keep grooving while the armies are moving. But constructing these neon-lighted buildings will be no easy task. Players will be required to refine and combine rare goods from previous ages to produce the mats needed. 18 new technologies have been added, including Hollywood, commercial aviation, and, of course, baby boom. On the combat side, with a new era comes new tactics, such as the rapid deployment skill, which lets players send paratroopers into battle that jump down and surprise enemies. Using the skill starts the battle in a random location toward the center of the map and acts before any other unit. Guild Wars 2 teases its fans with an automaton-filled trailer for the Origins of Madness update. Not a lot of information has been released about the Origins of Madness, but what we do know is that it will be the first of 4 releases that will end the Scarlet Briar story arc. The teaser video shows off the gigantic experimental superweapon called the Twisted Marionette. The giant Watch Knight randomly appears for testing, laying waste to any who find themselves in reach of her pulverizing stilettos. The other half of the video highlights the new perma-boss that lives beneath Bloodtide Coast, an enormous jungle worm. What's the difference between jungle worms and earthworms? Well, these guys have teeth, and lots of them. On top of that, developers have hinted that the worm can regrow its multiple heads if certain conditions aren't met. For more information, you're going to have to wait until the release on January 21st. Alright guys, that's it for this week's MMO update. Thanks for watching. As always, remember to like, follow, and subscribe for all of the latest information. Again, I'm Ashlen, and I will see you next week. But until then, keep on gaming.